explanation from the U.S. government for all those unexplained UFO sightings in the sky since the 1950s. This time it's the CIA's turn. They say that many Americans who saw UFOs were really seeing U-2s, America's then high-flying and highly classified spy planes. CBS News correspondent Bob Orr has the CIA flying saucer story.
This, according to an unclassified CIA report, is what hundreds of Americans actually saw in the 1950s and 60s when they reported UFOs. It's the U-2, a high-flying reconnaissance plane used to spy on the Soviet Union during the Cold War. The U-2 and this later spy plane, the SR-71 Blackbird, were so secret the government didn't acknowledge their flights. But now the study published on a CIA internet page claims that, quote, over half of all UFO reports were accounted for by manned reconnaissance flights over the United States. The government reached that conclusion as early as the mid-50s, but the report says efforts to protect the secrecy of the spy planes, quote, led the Air Force to make misleading and deceptive statements.
There's no good reason for keeping this secret for 3 decades. These planes were publicly revealed in the early 1960s, and so the fact that people had been seeing them in the 1950s really wasn't any big secret.
The CIA disclosure comes just 6 weeks after the Air Force made its own UFO claims, that alien bodies seen in New Mexico were actually lifelike dummies used in secret parachute testing, and that flying saucers reported in the same area were part of secret experiments. But for the real believers, the people who call themselves ufologists, the latest government claims are nothing more than the latest lies.
The government has been lying about UFOs for 50 years, and these are some of the poor excuses they're coming forward to try to explain them away.
Believers have always maintained the government knows more than it claims about UFOs and doesn't always tell the truth. The latest government admissions concede both points and do little, if anything, to settle the UFO debate. Bob Orr, CBS News, Washington.